Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to ditch the outdated beliefs, release the blocks, and fully embrace your sovereignty so you can confidently expand to allow more love, joy, and aligned success in your life. I am Niajae, your conscious accountability partner, reminding you that abundance is your birthright. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? Today's guest is Amanda Rose, and she is the founder of the Infinite Power of You. And I'm really excited to dive into all of the different things that she does. But before we get into it, Amanda, I want to ask you, what does abundance mean to you?
Oh, I love that question. And, I think that comes actually as a spiritual answer because we are abundant beings. We are part of the universe at large. And abundance for me is remembering that and being able to connect into our infinite self.
I love it. I love it. And I saw you mention soulful abundance. So what does soulful abundance mean to you?
I think a lot of the times we can get really caught up in the, day to day of our lives, the pursuit of money and wealth. It's just, we need money to live, and it can become this all encompassing thing. And we forget that abundance is really our ability to connect and to help others and to manifest on a bigger playing field. And so it's getting out of the kind of rat race of life and getting into that infinite level. It's back to the word infinite because it's really about breaking down the barriers, getting rid of limitations, and really understanding who we are and being able to live that. And then we get to give back as well as to receive. So it's getting into the flow.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So tell us about you. Who is Amanda Rose?
Well, my journey has been just crazy, and I know a lot of people's have same kind of thing, but I never really planned on necessarily building a business. I went to school for acting for film and television, and I was really drawn to the arts. Um, and I ended up graduating in 2008 during the last big recession, and none of the film companies were coming to Canada because our dollar was really strong for once, which was bizarre. So my life plans just kind of like hit the toilet, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? And so for me, like, I just kind of jumped from job to job for a while. I did door-to-door sales. I did retail. I had a really cool job. If you remember those old commercials where they have the Ginzu knife that like cut through the can, I ended up working for that company, and they do live in-store sales presentations, which was really a lot of fun. And I loved it until there was this management shift, and this guy from hell showed up, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. This isn't me. And at that point in my life, I was, really longing to get back to my core art and helping change the way people think and showing up in that capacity. I mean, I'm Aquarius, so I'm always there to shove a wrench in the way that people like to think about life. And I ended up joining an MLM to start out because I didn't really have my own business idea at the time. And I was very much into health and wellness. I'd lost 138 pounds using their products. So I was like, I can sell this. Like, I can get behind this and I can sell it. And that was my first foray into entrepreneurship. And it was not what I expected. I was so good at sales in person, but sales online is like this whole other ballgame.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my introduction to the world, and it's just kind of been this evolution since then. And that was 2013 when I first started in the online space. So it's just been this evolutionary thing. And the big thing for me was moving out of strategy and getting into the mindset work, which took the universe beating me with a shoe over my head until I finally listened.
Yeah, I totally know how that is. So okay, explain to the audience what the infinite power of you is, because you do a lot of different things. You do some sales, and then you also have written some books, and I know you coach with like mindset and helping other entrepreneurs with sales. So how did the infinite power of you come about?
Yeah, so yeah, just like you say, I'm very much a multipreneur. I have a lot of different passions, and I really think as human beings we're very diverse. And I love to be able to share that it's not just doesn't have to be that one thing. As much as people say, narrow it down, do the one thing you're good at. I think we can be good at multiple things, and that as long as we give each thing the time to get off the ground, there's no wrong way to run a business. It's good to follow our passions, and yeah, um, so I do coaching, like you mentioned, for business. I do mindset coaching as well, manifestation and wealth consciousness, as well as wealth management. And I am a course creator. I've got 12 books out. I do motivational speaking. I just love to be involved in all of the things that help us grow as human beings. And so when I was at that point where it was like, okay, it's time to go from sole proprietor and found my corporation, that name just really flooded into me, and it was very aligned with my purpose into kind of helping us all realize that we aren't just this, singular human being. We're part of a bigger picture. We're part of the big universe at large, and when we recognize that, then we can let go of all of the things that we typically allow to hold us back. And that is the big thing with the infinite power of you, is we are infinite, and we have to recognize that.
Yes, I love it. So I really want to point out you went from working from working for an MLM to having 12 books and a company of your own. And that is so powerful. So I want the audience to really let that sink in, because I know some people that they go hard for the MLM that they work for. Like whatever the company is, they're like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And I always say to myself, if they had the confidence in themselves or their own product as much as they have in this company, they could work wonders. But I don't think that
Yeah.
I always ask myself, because I have my own company, and I have like a bunch of things that I work on. And I always ask myself, like, what is it that makes someone feel more confident in another product and not themselves, or something that they can create? So what do you think was the mindset shift that you needed in order to go from promoting an MLM to now promoting your own product and having 12 books, which is, I mean, definitely congratulations, because that's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you very much. And I love that you bring that up, because it's very true. And I find almost when people are new to sales, it's much easier for them to either do affiliate marketing, MLM, get on the bandwagon promoting somebody else as like a referral based thing, because it's that confidence to go, no, this person or this product or this company is amazing, but like people have a hard time kind of tooting their own horn, and we have to, as entrepreneurs, as business leaders, we have to be out there going, I'm fucking awesome. And it's hard for people to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because I think there's this inner conflict of, we're told to, be humble and be appreciative, and that's so important. Gratitude's a part of the process. We have to recognize that it's not the ego trip. It's not going like, I'm amazing, buy my stuff. Like, that's not what it is. It's, this is amazing. I believe in me. I believe in you. Let's do something together. And I think that's where the confidence comes in, and it's believing in yourself. And I think we almost have to dip into that. Like, I'd love to just shove people into the pool, but I feel like sometimes it's just dipping the toe in at first to go, okay, can I do this? And testing it out. So for me, the biggest part for me came when I had a big life change, and I was still working my MLM really hard. My husband comes home one day, and of course, I'm on the middle of a video call, and he hands me this piece of paper, and I open it up, and it says that he's been fired. So of course, I'm on this call going, oh, I need to reschedule. Oh my God. I just like, ah. And it was at that moment where I was like, okay, well, my MLM isn't making enough for me to, 100% cover our bills and, pay for the car and the mortgage and all these things. And I really very clearly saw I had two paths that I could choose. I could figure out how to file for bankruptcy, or I could finally do my mindset stuff and get over my money blocks and deal with it. And of course, I chose to go for the mindset stuff. And it changed my life so radically, so fast, that I was just like, I have to tell everybody about this. and it was a catalyst that I needed in order to move forward. So that was my shove into the pool. That was like, no, you got it. You're sinking or swimming right now.
Mhm. Yeah. And so you bring up money blocks. I think that that's a huge thing because people tend to go into a state of fear and like lack and scarcity, but and I feel like most people would go for like a more secure, like go for like a regular job because they think it's more secure, but that is from a place of lack and scarcity sometimes because they don't have that confidence within themselves. So what would you say are some of the tips that you would recommend for someone trying to overcome money blocks? Like what are some mindset tips that you share with people?
I think the biggest thing is we have to understand how the subconscious mind works. And like I love diving into manifesting, but I think a lot of people go, oh, well, manifestation doesn't work for me. And that's simply not true. Manifestation's like gravity. It's always working, but it doesn't work the way we expect it works is the problem. So I really like to talk to people about, okay, let's figure out what your beliefs are beneath the surface. Because all day long you can go, I want to be a millionaire. But if you don't deep down believe that it's possible, it's not going to happen. So, what are those deep set beliefs about money? And most of our subconscious beliefs come, before the age of 8. However, we also know the prefrontal cortex doesn't finish developing until age 25. So a lot of those initial experiences, first jobs, first romances, all that kind of stuff leaves that imprint about what life is.
Mhm.
And that's the blueprint that we work off of. And until we go back and go, okay, what's stuck in my head about, money, for example, that we're talking about now, what did I, regularly see, what did I hear, and what did I experience around money while I was growing up? And those questions are going to give you the answers that you need, because that's where it all stems from. And for me, I knew like a big part of it was, being in the arts. Everybody tells you, well, what's your day job going to be? What's your backup plan? What's this and that? Because it's just, that's the arts arena. And that I didn't realize what an impact that had on me,
Mhm.
um, until I really dug into it. And I also had a lot of really negative connotation with rich people because of the news and how they always demonize these people, like, oh, the billionaire and their oil spill. And then you're like, screw you, rich jerk, for screwing up our planet. But they're not talking about the hundreds and thousands of other like millionaires and billionaires who are out there, like, building wells and, impoverished countries, and donating large sums of money to help. We don't hear about that. The news really focuses on the negative. So that was a big thing for me, was recognizing all of these false beliefs that I was holding on to and then just letting them go.
Yeah. So powerful. And that's a lot of what we talk about on this podcast is, do you have a contradicting like core belief that's standing in your way of the things that you're trying to manifest? And I call the audience M&Ms, and it actually stands for magical manifestors, because we are manifesting by default. Our beliefs, our thought patterns, it's all manifesting our reality. So really getting to those core beliefs is the thing that's going to help you with manifesting.
Yes,
Yes.
100%. I love that that's the focus of the talk, because that's the magic part.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for energetic self care? Life challenges us. However, we have tools to help us navigate the transitions, release trapped emotions, maintain positive energy, and expand to allow more joy and excitement. Abundant and Aligned Society is an energetic self care accountability program that helps you go from stress and anxiety, fight or flight, to operating from a place of abundance and alignment. Go to niajae.com/society for more information and start vibrating higher.
I do think that associating like rich people with like evil, like evilness, or like what's the saying that they always say, like money's the root of all evil? Like I feel like that's a lot of people's core belief when it comes to money. But what are some other blocks or core beliefs that you've seen like maybe a client overcome that's helped them?
I know, because I do work with a lot of women, as women, we can be really programmed to, still look to men to be providers, because that's been such a big part of our history. And I think being able to step into that power is really huge, because I see a lot of women almost don't want to make more than their partner, their spouse, whoever they're with, because they want to be taken care of. Deep down, there's that need to be nurtured. And there's an association with money that's falsely put there. And I think it's really fascinating, because we can contribute to a relationship in different ways, whether you're the breadwinner or not. That doesn't mean that the other partner isn't contributing in some way that's just as beneficial to taking care of you. So that's a big one that I've seen come up over and over again, which I was like, interesting, because has never been my experience. That was one where I was like, aha, that's a neat one.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. I think that have you read Gay Hendricks, The Big Leap?
I haven't read that one yet, actually.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But when you said that, it reminds me, one of the upper limits is the fear of outshining. So fear of outshining your partner is a huge, huge, huge upper limit issue, because you are keeping yourself small for the comfort of your partner because you don't want to outshine them. But it is a core belief that it's going to cause problems or an imbalance in your relationship. So that's definitely a huge area to look at. And I think that on the flip side, there's a toxic independence that's going on with women as well, because like for me, I was taught to always have my own and never depend on a man. So like I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum where, it's like supposedly empowering to make more than a man. And it's like this whole movement of women feeling like extra empowered because they can take care of themselves. So I think really just observing our core beliefs, whether it's on the end of like, women should be taken care of or women shouldn't be taken care of and we should take care of ourselves. It's really getting to like, what are your core beliefs and are they serving you? Because
Yes.
I don't think that there is a right or wrong way or one way or the other way or this is how it should look. It's really, really peeling the layers back to find out, what do I believe? What do I want? Not what society says I should want, not what my parents say I should want. What do I want? And how can I shift my mindset to make sure I'm calling that in and allowing it in?
Yes, I 100,000% agree with that. I think that's so powerful, because it really is creating our life, and it doesn't have to meet the metrics of society or anybody else. It's really about finding our own joy and our own happiness, whatever that means to us. And that's where the power is. That's wonderful.
Yes. Okay, so you have 12 books. If someone's like, okay, I want to check out one of her books, what would be the one that you would recommend first?
Oh, that's such a hard question, because I write in so many different categories. um, I've got two main series. So if there was somebody who was looking for manifestation and growth and that kind of thing, I would definitely recommend them to Manifesting on Purpose, which is a deep dive into why the subconscious mind works the way it does, how to reprogram it, and then activities to actually instigate manifestation in a purposeful way. So that's where I would send them for that. If somebody's a big sci-fi nerd like I am, I would send them over to Fire, Fury, Frontier to start my sci-fi series.
Very cool. Very cool. I'd love to talk about manifesting a little bit. So being that this podcast is about manifesting, and a lot of people do feel like manifesting doesn't work for them. And I know we talked about core beliefs, but other than core beliefs, why would you like, what's another reason why manifestation may not be working for someone?
I find typically there's this, it's always this kind of subconscious versus conscious level. And I find that's typically where we're seeing the issues happening when it comes to manifestation. And focus is a big part of that. When we talk about, how we manifest, it's what we focus on. So if, they're doing the daily practice, let's say like 10 minutes every morning, they're reading through their top 10 things they want to manifest. They're doing their affirmations and wonderful, great. But then they go into the rest of their day and they're like, oh, I've got so many bills today. These bills really suck. And oh, nobody's signing up for my program, or I'm not signing any clients. This is really hard. And oh, look, my bank account is barren. That sucks. And so even though they're spending 10 minutes a day going, yay, all the feelings and the gratitude and the yay, the other, 23 plus hours, they're, looking at the negative, they're looking at the lack. And so they're manifesting more of the lack because that's where their attention is. And one of the things that I really liked in the book, The Power by Rhonda Byrne, who did The Secret, was that she talked about you just need to focus 51% on the positive, on the good, to tip the scale. Doesn't have to be all day long, but it needs to be a higher percentage on what it is that you want to manifest, because we get what we focus on. That's what we're attracting, no matter what it is. So I always say, if somebody's always complaining about their bills, well, what's the opposite of that? The positive opposite is, I've got more than enough money to pay these bills, are always paid on time. This is effortless and easy. That's how to flip it, is just switch it around. And I find that's the easiest way to focus on this, because that's got to be the number one thing that people struggle with, is they're constantly focused on the lack.
Yeah, I love it. And it's such a simple shift too. So like the bills, when people feel like, oh, as soon as money comes in, it goes out. But if you focus on the fact that you have money coming in constantly rather than the money going out, it's just a simple shift. Yeah. So powerful. Simple, but powerful. I love it. I love it. Okay. So what are your top 3 tips for living an abundant life?
I love that you asked that. I think that's wonderful. So I think the first thing is celebrating money when it comes in. Like, no matter whether it's a penny that you find on the street, or, a client paid you something, or you get a rebate or a refund or a coupon code, whatever it is, that's abundance flowing into us. And that's the universe saying, here you go. Here is more of the good. And we tend to gloss over that. Ironically, we're just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good. And really, we should be going, yeah, this is fucking amazing. Like, we should be feeling the joy of that, no matter how big or small the denomination, because it's our energy that attracts. And I think that's so important. And, leading on that is, the second tip I have is it really is all about that vibrational level. And we know that love is the vibration of creation. That's how we tap into everything good in this whole universe. So it's going through that process, whether you want to call it your gratitude process, or instead of being like, I'm thankful for, you can be like, I love blue skies and sunny days. I love that, whatever it is that makes you feel lit up and lifted. I think that's absolutely huge. And then the third one would be to always be growing and expanding your mind, because that is our tool in how we actually create abundance. So for me, books are always my favorite gateway for that. And I would highly recommend to everybody who's watching this to check out Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. That's my favorite book on money and money mindset ever.
I am definitely going to write that one down. Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely amazing. So where can people find you online?
I live on Facebook, so that's definitely the best place to find me. If you look up Amanda Rose author, you'll find me on Facebook.
Awesome. So it was Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
Yes.
You recommended? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so
he's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I will definitely check that out. So I will have all of her links in the show notes, so you can definitely go find her, go purchase some of her books. I know she has a book on Audible, so if you have Audible, that's one way that you can find her. And you have a pretty active Facebook group too that you go live in.
Yes, it's named after my company name, the Infinite Power of You Entrepreneurs Community.
Awesome. So I'll have the link for that as well. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And I love everything that you're doing. I hope that you write like a ton more books. Like, I love John Maxwell. I saw him speak live and he talks about how he has 88 books. And I'm like, 88 books? That's amazing. So my hope for you is that you make your way up to like 88 books.
Thank you. Yeah, one day we're going to get there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. And until next time, M&Ms, be decadent.
Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.